Over the past weekend, we drove up and camped in the beautiful San Juan Mountains of Lower Colorado. And what was almost even more impressive than the mountains was the dark night sky. Here's a picture I took from my camera and the next picture I took on my phone. I also brought my telescope along, so today we're going to edit photos from that. Alright, now that we've got Siril open, let's get to the first one. And the first one I've got is IC2574, also known as Coddington's Nebula. So let's go ahead, take all of our photos in our fit file. We're going to add that in, start converting these to lights. And so this is also known as Coddington's Nebula, and it's a very small sort of dwarf spiral galaxy that's starting to form stars here. So now that we've got those in, we're going to go ahead and register all of these stars. I'm going to set this to auto stretch just so that we can kind of see what's going on. Hopefully we've got a good image here with that dark sky. I've got another one known as the hidden galaxy, which is very hard to capture, and I'll go over that when we get to it. But now that we've registered these, we're going to just punch through real quick and take out the ones that have a weird color or any streaks like that, even though that streak won't really mess up the final image. We've got plenty here that we'll just take it out to be safe. So these ones have a weird sort of reddish color to them. That could have been from like my flashlight. That one's got a bit of a green color. Could be from my flashlight or something else while I was out there. These streaks could be planes of some sort. Or possibly like a shooting star, like a meteor. We've got a lot of these tiny things, and you see the other stars are pretty stationary, so I'm not sure if these were like meteorites, shooting stars, something, but kind of weird how there's a couple, and then if it was the image, you would expect to see the rest of the stars doing that, but they're not. I'm going to take that out. It does it on a couple of them. Then I'll take out all of these green images. I'm not sure why that's just bright green. Alright. Now that that's all done, we can go ahead and stack this. We'll see how it looks out once it's stacked. Okay, that looks pretty good. We can definitely see the galaxy, the nebula right here. Obviously the image is pretty green since most of space is green light, but we can take that out. There we go. You can definitely see it. So let's go ahead and calibrate the color. Do a photometric calibration. Okay, and it flipped our image for us after save it. So now what we can do is take out the stars. So I'm going to go to star processing, do star removal, the pre-stretch. We'll let that run real quick. Alright, now that we've got those stars removed, we can switch this back to linear and get to stretching this image. So as we can see nothing here. And what I'm going to do is set this to 100 on the logarithmic scale, and we're just gonna blow this out of the water, blow it way out, make it bright. That's about good. Or so we'll switch over to black point, reset this, then we need to drag this over until just before we start clipping it. Clipping it is where we'll lose image quality, so there. And now we can start just playing around. So first thing I'm going to do is just make this pretty bright. As bright as I can without making too much noise. And then we'll start moving our symmetry point over. And I like to do these in about every third or so of the image. So that makes it pretty bright. So we're going to skip that, go to 0.6. That darkens it up a bit. And we'll just play around with this until we get it looking decent. Okay, well that's looking decent. You can definitely see this galaxy pretty well. I'm gonna come up here. I'll put that saturation just a bit. Then I will save this. And now let's bring the stars back. I'm gonna start processing, start recomposition. Open this. Gonna do the starless. And then add the star mask. Let's stretch that back in. Alright, there we go. I'm going to save this. Now we've got this in Lightroom, so we're going to do a couple things to it here. First, alright, so there's my basic settings. Now I want to make a mask, a radial gradient. Alright, let's start messing with this now. We'll bring that exposure up. A bit of contrast. A little bit of highlights. We're gonna kind of go for a more bluish look here. Alright, so there we have it. I think that looks decent. You can definitely see where these brighter lights are forming in the stars. And we definitely got a decent picture seeing this sort of cloud-like nebula form of a galaxy. So we'll take it.